A group of firefighters from Madison is back home this morning after joining departments across the state to honor one of their own who died in the line of duty.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for joining us on your Tuesday, May 21st. You are waking up to a beautiful sunrise out there.
If there's anything nice about being up at the time we have to, is we get to see the sunrise, and this morning was just spectacular.
Stunning.
It was very colorful. Right now, we still have clouds in the area, and the sun is actually above the clouds. We're not seeing as many colors with the clouds this morning, but still a pretty nice start to the day. It's at least dry here across southern Wisconsin. That is the good news. Temperatures are in the mid-40s, 46 here in Madison, as well as Mineral Point, 49 in Boscobel and Prairie du Chien. Those seem to be the warm spots this morning. Your temperatures over the next 12 hours are only going to climb a few degrees, 53 for the high. When you factor in a strong east wind, it is going to feel quite chilly today. And a few showers are possible as well. My son has a field trip to the farm today.
Oh, poor buddy.
Not the best. I laid out his winter jacket. He was not happy with me about that. No delays right now on the traffic maps showing up on downtown areas or on the Beltline this morning. Just a few brake lights at Stoughton Road. Otherwise, here are your drive times into Madison. Looks like you're still going at posted speeds right now.
Hopefully he's got the boots ready too, huh?
Yeah, I put out the rain boots for him. He was doubly upset about that. I'm not wearing rain boots.
You know, luckily, at least we're all Midwestern folks. We should have snow in our veins at this point.
Oh,
do we, though?
I'm dropping the snow word now.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
There is snow on the radar map this morning. Not here.
Oh, my.
Parts of the U.S. are getting some snow this morning.
Oh, boy. It could be worse.
It could be worse. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
First this half hour, Madison police are asking for your help in finding a missing teenager this morning. 16-year-old Haley Akers was last seen around 1 yesterday afternoon on the north side of the city near Sherman Park. She's about 5 feet 7 inches tall and has brown hair and brown eyes. Police believe she is voluntarily missing. If you've seen her or know where she is, you're asked to call 911.
New this morning, we have a better idea of when Madison schools may have an interim superintendent in place. The State Journal says the school board is hoping to interview candidates for the interim role by mid-June and make an offer before July. Whoever takes that job would serve until a permanent replacement for outgoing Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham is found. Cheatham announced earlier this month she was resigning as superintendent to take a job at Harvard School of Education. She's planning to stay on the district until the end of August.
A woman is facing charges this morning after trying to get into a Madison school and threatening to shoot it up. 35-year-old Adrain Harris was arrested inside Jefferson Middle School yesterday. Madison police say she threatened to shoot up the school, started on fire, and drive her car through the front doors. Harris denies making those statements. According to a letter sent home to families, the principal says Harris was being disorderly in the entranceway of the school. She isn't allowed on school property without advance notice due to previous disturbances. She's now facing charges of disorderly conduct and trespassing.
Meanwhile, class at Mosinee Middle School will be held as normal today after being on lockdown for about half the day Monday. This as police investigated a threat sent over social media in the morning. The threat came in a post on Snapchat claiming someone was going to bring a gun to school. After hours of investigating, police say they believed it was created in a different part of the state and was not credible.
More local news this morning. The school board in Verona is continuing to talk about disciplinary action against students involved in these fights at the high school earlier this month. That cell phone video shows students throwing punches and yelling while staff members try to break it up. During the open comment session at last night's meeting, some parents shared their concerns. The board adjourned into a closed-door session around 9 last night to talk more about the next steps for those students involved.
It is 6:04 right now. A group of Madison firefighters are back home this morning after spending the day in Appleton and helping their fellow colleagues grieve. A visitation and funeral service were held yesterday in Appleton for firefighter Mitchell Lundgaard. He served 14 years at that department and is the first Appleton firefighter in 86 years to die in the line of duty. His fellow firefighters transported his body from the church to the funeral home for a private service as hundreds of people lined the streets to say their final farewells. 5 members of the Madison Fire Department spent the day in Appleton to help cover calls for the Appleton Fire Department during those ceremonies. It was an emotional day for everyone, especially those that used to work there.
The thing about working here is it's such a close-knit group, and you really know everybody really well, and You know, especially anything happens good or bad, you know, it really affects everybody. So it's tough.
Since his death, Lungard has been posthumously promoted to driver engineer. He leaves behind his wife and 3 children ages 9, 7, and 4.
A wrongful death suit in the Sun Prairie explosion is moving forward this morning, despite attorneys asking for that case to be dismissed. Abby Barr, the widow of a firefighter who died in the explosion, and 2 firefighters who were injured, are suing multiple companies in that case. Authorities say a miscommunication between 4 different companies led to the explosion after one of them unknowingly drilled into a gas line. Attorneys for those companies cited firefighters' rule, which prohibits first responders from seeking damages in connection with their duties. The judge, though, denied their motion to dismiss the case, saying she needs more information to make a ruling, given the extraordinary circumstances of this case.
We want to make a quick correction for a story we first told you about yesterday morning. In our story on motorcycle safety, we mistakenly reported total crash statistics on Wisconsin roads rather than just motorcycle crashes. Wisconsin DMV numbers show Wisconsin sees an average about 2,300 motorcycle crashes per year, resulting in about 2,000 injuries and 84 deaths. All right, 6:06 is your time this morning. So Memorial Day weekend is on the horizon, meaning you won't have to wait too much longer for area pools to open.
Here's hoping, at least. But before diving in, officials say you should be aware of some of the warning signs that could make you sick. Our Madeline O'Neill is here this morning with more on that. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning, guys. Well, the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection reports more than 450 public pool-related injuries or illnesses between 2008 and 2016 in the state, and more than half of those have to do with pool chemicals. One sign of that would be a strong smell, and in that case, StatCap recommends a self-inspection using test strips for things like chlorine, bromine, and pH levels as an added protection. Sometimes those test strips can be a bit subjective based on where in the pool you're doing the testing, but if something is out of the general safe levels, let the pool operator know.
It's always the nice clear blue water. There really isn't that hesitation to think twice about what else could be in there. It looks very inviting, but just we're asking people to take that secondary step and just be aware of the surrounding.
Symptoms of chemical-related illness include red, itchy eyes and coughing. If that happens to you, go to the doctor right away. And there are a few other precautions you can take to help, including what you do before getting into the water. We'll talk about that in about a half hour.
Boy, I'm excited that we're talking about pool season at all.
I know in general, right? Just waiting for my pool to open. I keep looking at my window. It has water, so.
Hey, that's a start.
It's a good start.
All right, we'll see you in about half an hour. Thank you, Maddie.
Thanks.
All right, it is 6:08 right now. So before we jump in the pool, we need to get rid of this rain. But it's not just pool goers like Leah and I who want to see things dry out. This wet and cold spring is continuing to make things worse for farmers, how they're trying to cope as they fall further behind schedule.
We're thinking of them this morning, but there is some hope on the horizon. Quite literally, take a look at that sunrise. It has been amazing this morning. But Hattie says yet another wet and cold day in store before a warm-up heads our way. Her first alert forecast is next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Cloudy skies right now across southern Wisconsin and one more cool day before we start to warm up. So let's get you all those details. Today, high temperatures will be about 20 degrees below where they should be this time of the year. Believe it or not, normal high 70 degrees right now in Madison. We will fall well short today, hitting highs only in the low 50s. But you see that big jump in the temperatures for tomorrow. We're into the upper 70s and even low 80s on Thursday. So we trend a little closer to normal for the rest of that 10-day forecast. But we have to get through today first. On the radar map, you see little bits of green to the south. There is some moisture to the south right now. It has been falling apart as it encounters some pretty dry air in place here across southern Wisconsin. That rain will be battling a strong east wind today. So as it begins to lift northward, I do expect it to fall apart as we have seen over the last couple of hours. But eventually that rain will make it into southern Wisconsin late morning and early afternoon. So we still have a chance to get wet today. As far as total precipitation through Wednesday morning, we could see a couple tenths to around a half an inch, less than an inch though for most of our viewing area is expected with this next round of rain. We had a beautiful sunrise this morning, but clouds are in place right now and we'll be dealing with those clouds through the rest of the day today. Temperatures under that cloud cover in the mid 40s for the most part, 45 in Watertown, 46 in Monroe and Mineral Point, as well as here in Madison. Now, right now we have an east-northeasterly wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour, but watch what happens. We use future track wind speeds. Winds will be from the east through the day, and the speed is going to be on the increase this morning. It's going to turn quite windy through the afternoon, and that will be the case even into the evening. So if you have sports or games, practices tonight, plan on a very strong easterly wind. That's going to make it feel a lot colder than it actually is. Now, the winds will stay strong through the overnight hours, but they will begin to shift to the south by tomorrow, and that'll set us up for warmer temperatures on Wednesday. Until we get to Wednesday, though, we deal with cloudy skies and east winds. Temperatures only climbing a few degrees today. We're looking at highs in the low 50s this afternoon with some scattered showers moving through. Now, there is still that chance for rain through the evening and overnight hours, but by tomorrow morning, it all lifts to the north. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. A big change over the next 24 hours. We're going for highs around 53 today to 77 tomorrow and 81 on Thursday. Most of Wednesday and Thursday will actually be dry. Rain chances really return Thursday night into Friday. And for the upcoming weekend, it is looking a little wet, but at least temperatures stay in the 70s. Now it's time to get a look at your First Alert traffic maps this morning. Josh Tim is back behind the driving wheel. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. A quiet start on the Beltline this morning. Really nothing that'll delay you yet in either direction at this point. Other roads here in Dane County are moving well. Just look for a few extra brake lights on northbound Verona Road and Stoughton Road approaching the Beltline ramps. No delays showing up around campus. Volume will continue to pick up over the next couple of hours. And other main routes heading into Madison still cruising at the posted speeds with no crashes or delays. Your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you so much, Josh, and thank you, Hattie. Well, more rain in the forecast isn't exactly good news for farmers who are already seeing major setbacks.
Right now, the USDA says Wisconsin farmers have 35% of their corn and 12% of their soybeans planted. That puts planting about a week and a half behind schedule. Corey Brown is a farmer at Sunburst Dairy. He says only 60 out of his 400 acres of corn is planted. His alfalfa is in the ground, but it's already been snowed on twice.
Traditionally, we'll harvest our alfalfa first cutting next week. And with all the rain, that doesn't look like it will happen. So we're very concerned because about 25% of what my cows eat in a year is alfalfa silage. And another third of what they eat is corn silage. So the vast majority of my cow's diet is possibly in jeopardy.
Brown says the only thing keeping his stress in check right now is that there's really not much that he can do about it.
This is not the forecast those farmers want to hear about. I feel like they have so much else to deal with, too, with tariffs, with low milk prices. I mean, just add weather to the list of problems.
They cannot catch a break at all. And like the thing like you had mentioned there, too, there's really nothing that you can do about it. So you're just kind of sitting there. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing, that when it is that wet, you can't get out into the fields, you can't really get anything done. So I just have to imagine that has to be just a horrible feeling.
We are thinking of them.
We are certainly thinking of them. All right, 6:16 right now. So farmers in Wisconsin aren't alone, as a large severe weather system is affecting millions of people this morning. Chris Reese is in next with a look at that system that's generated a dozen tornadoes already and is headed in our direction in a little bit of a different way.
Right. Luckily, things are looking quiet here in Wisconsin, but a bit cold to start your Tuesday. Hattie is talking about sweater weather this late into May. Polar Bear's not minding it too much, though, at all. This is his kind of weather. Your first alert forecast is up next on News 3 Now this morning.
Welcome back at 6:20 on a Tuesday morning, and if you're just waking up, you missed a spectacular sunrise, but Hattie has
Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Made a time lapse of it.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful sunrise this morning. Take a look at the graphic. We have the time lapse in the weather maps this morning, so if we can go to those weather graphics in Max 1, you'll be able to see the time lapse here in southern Wisconsin. Beautiful colors. There we go. This is what it started like this morning. Just lots of reds and oranges. It didn't last long. We have clouds in the area this morning, and we're stuck with those clouds for the rest of the day. 46 here in Madison this morning, 48 in Janesville, 45 in Watertown, and 43 in the Dells. Not terribly cold. We do have an east-northeasterly wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour, but that wind will be increasing through the day today. We're looking at bus stop weather forecast. Here's a look at your forecast today. Temperatures will climb only to the low 50s, 50 at lunchtime, 53 as the bus takes you home from school this afternoon. There will be chances for some showers as well as a very strong easterly wind, making it feel a little bit cooler.
All right, Hattie, thank you. It is 6:21 right now. Severe weather season is officially here for Tornado Alley and parts of the southern plains.
More than a dozen tornadoes have been confirmed as part of a big storm system that hit Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Those storms also brought hail and heavy rains that led to severe flooding in that part of the country. Several people had to be rescued overnight. Luckily, no deaths or injuries have been reported so far. More storms, though, are expected in Missouri and northern Arkansas today. And that same storm system is headed our way, though it won't be nearly as severe.
Our buddy Chris Reese is here this morning to tell us what we can expect in the next day or two, and luckily a lot quieter than what they're seeing.
Yeah, that's certainly for sure. We always say it could be worse, and yesterday was one of the worst days you can get in terms of the severe weather risk. Now, thankfully, it didn't get as bad as it could have been, but we still saw plenty of thunderstorms in that direction. In fact, this is just the past 24 hours over the same area. And notice how you had the storms developing, all kind of congealing into one line, and now we're dealing with a flood threat across a large part of Oklahoma. And so you have several flash flood warnings throughout Oklahoma, still some tornado warnings throughout southeastern Oklahoma, or tornado watches, and then a new tornado warning with the storm coming out of Texas into southern Oklahoma. Then you look at the Midwest as a whole. We do have another severe threat for today. This is what is known as an enhanced risk. That is level 3 out of 5 for severe weather throughout parts of northern Arkansas into Missouri. And then we come up towards Wisconsin. Notice how most of the state is in that general risk for thunderstorms. Now, these are not expected to be severe, but everyone in Wisconsin could see some thunderstorms today. And then we are looking at small chances for thunderstorms on Wednesday and Thursday for most of the state. I don't think everyone's going to see a washout of rain, but nonetheless, that chance for some showers and thunderstorms will exist. But what's driving this pattern is still the jet stream that has been very strong with systems coming out of the Pacific. Cooler airs over the western half of the country. Meanwhile, we're warmer across the south and east. This keeps those storm systems driving from the Pacific and into the Midwest. That's going to be the case going through the rest of this week as well. And this is normal. Generally around this time of the year, we start to see that severe weather threat set up from northern Texas all the way through southern Iowa. As we move into June, this begins to move even farther north. That is when our severe weather risk, our tornado risk as a whole becomes greater here in Wisconsin. In fact, June, folks, is the peak month for tornado reports statewide. Now, thankfully, we have not seen any in April or May, but June and July, that's the time where it really gets rocking and rolling, and we're knocking on the door.
You know, we're really just at the start of severe weather season, but it seems like we have a very active weather pattern here in Wisconsin.
It's been active since, what, February, January at this point, and it has not let up, and I don't see signs of that at the moment. I think we're going to stay active for a little bit.
Well, we're lucky to have you and Hattie keeping an eye on it for us.
Our pleasure.
Thank you, Chris.
Anytime.
All right, it is 6:24 right now. Still ahead for us this morning, there's a proposal at the state capitol that would automatically register you to vote once you get your driver's license or ID.
But that idea is getting a little bit of resistance from Republican leaders in the legislature. We'll tell you why they say it's not needed. That and more local news is next on News 3 Now this morning.
Years of fighting between the city of Madison and a popular fast food restaurant is set to come to an end tonight. Why this could signal a new way of thinking for how the city handles alcohol licenses.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for staying with us on this Tuesday, May 21st, and still not feeling a lot like May out there this morning.
No, Miss Hattie McLean is dressed more like March. What's worse, I think she sent her son to school with his winter jacket, right, Hattie?
Well, he's not there yet, but I laid it out. We'll see what he actually wears. He has a field trip today, and it's going to be windy and cold on the farm, so got to dress for the weather. The birds aren't very loud this morning in the backyard as well. Maybe they kind of know what's coming our way. They're hunkered down. Polar bears are out, though. They don't mind this cool weather that we have in store for us today. So plan on temperatures that will be significantly cooler than what we would typically see by the end of May. Doppler track this morning is pretty quiet so far here in southern Wisconsin. Some rain to our south trying to push into the area, but an easterly wind keeping things dry for southern Wisconsin. As we go through the day, if you're headed out during the lunch hour, pretty good bet that you're likely to see a few showers developing across southern Wisconsin. Now, here's a look at our current temperature readings. 46 here in Madison and Mineral Point, 43 in the Dells. That's the cool spot. It is closer to 50 in Prairie du Chien and Boscobel. As you head out the door this morning, grab that umbrella because there are some showers in the forecast. Probably want an extra layer as well, with temperatures only topping in the low 50s. A strong easterly wind keeping a chill in the air through the day today. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. Just a few brake lights showing up on the Beltline right around Stoughton Road. It gets a little congested there starting right now. A little slow as well on the Beltline as you enter from Verona Road. Otherwise, no accidents to report. If you are headed northbound on Verona Road through that construction zone, a little slower than normal right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
I think we all need to channel the polar bear mindset this morning. Just relax, it's fine, it's breakfast time, we're not too perturbed by the weather.
That's true, or just wait 24 hours. Pull the covers back over your head and just wait for a day.
Great advice there. All right, thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
All right, breaking overnight, 2 people are dead after yet another plane crash in Alaska. This is now the second fatal crash involving the same company in just 1 week. That company, Taquan Air, also involved in the mid-air collision that left 6 people dead. Today's crash, though, was a commuter plane, not a sightseeing flight. Right now, there is no indication that these crashes are reflective of that company's safety.
At the state capitol, a new bill aimed at increasing the number of registered voters here in Wisconsin is already being met with pushback from Republican leaders. It's an effort to reintroduce a proposal that was stripped from Governor Evers' budget plan that would automatically register people to vote when they get their driver's licenses or state ID cards. Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos says the new proposal is unnecessary because Wisconsin already has online voter registration and same-day registration. Speaker Vos said in a statement, the bill is a solution looking for a problem. It's already easy to register to vote here in Wisconsin. The governor, however, disagrees.
We're going to continue to fight for them, even though the Republicans have decided that voting, easy voting was not on their agenda. I think at the end of the day, we will convince them that it is on all of our agenda.
The Joint Finance Committee voted to strip more than 130 policy items from Governor Evers' budget plan. Democratic lawmakers plan to reintroduce those policies separately, including measures on Medicaid expansion and the legalization of medical marijuana.
Republican leaders say they're thinking about putting their own proposals into a separate bill. Speaker Vos and Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald says they're actually considering splitting their budget into 2, one bill that covers spending and another with Republican policy items. They say that's because they haven't been able to successfully negotiate with the governor's office on the budget. Governor Evers would be able to use partial veto powers to rewrite parts of the fiscal bill, but would have to either sign or veto the entire policy bill.
More local news now. After years of court battles, the fight between the city of Madison and Taco Bell Cantina could finally be over tonight. City Council will make its final vote on an agreement with the restaurant to drop all current court cases and allow them to get an alcohol license. Former Mayor Paul Soglin was against that proposal as part of his push to reduce alcohol-related crime near State Street. But new Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway introduced a new resolution shortly after taking office to grant Taco Bell that license. City officials say denying a single alcohol license wasn't going to have a big impact on larger drinking issues in the city, which need to be addressed in a different way.
All right, it is 6:33 right now. As pools open for Memorial Day weekend, that water will probably look pretty inviting with warmer weather finally here.
Right, but the same chemicals that make those pools safe from germs can also be dangerous. Our Madeline O'Neill is here this morning to explain how you can tell and what we should do about it. Good morning, Maddie.
Hi, Leah and Josh. Yeah, anytime you detect a strong chemical smell, the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection officials say you should be on alert that something could be wrong. Improper chemical levels can cause illness with signs like watery eyes, a burning sensation, and coughing, and even life-threatening symptoms in extreme cases. You can use test strips found at local retailers that detect chlorine, bromine, and pH levels, and then let the pool operator know if they're out of the safe range. According to DATCAP, rinsing off before getting in the pool can actually help too.
Any types of germs that come in with people, those chemicals address those germs, and if there's an overabundance of that, then that's when we start to see an overproduction of chemicals and possible exposure to those.
For those who have pools at home, DATCAP recommends closely following all the instruction on any pool chemicals you're using and storing them properly as well. You should also wear safety equipment like goggles when handling pool chemicals. Never add chemicals when someone's in the water. Don't mix pool chemicals together, and add pool chemicals to water, never the other way around.
Now, you both have pools at your places. You're probably counting down the days, aren't
Ready
you?
to come over?
Oh, yeah. News 3 Now This Morning party over at Maddie's.
That sounds good
Deal.
to me.
I'll let you know when it opens.
All right, Madeline O'Neill with all the important tips this morning. Thank you, Maddie.
You're welcome.
All right, time right now is 6:34. The Bucks are hoping to bounce back from a double overtime loss as they get ready for Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight.
And there is a group of fans in North America's biggest Greek community that are feeling a little conflicted about the series. To chant Bucks in 5 or to not chant Bucks in 5? We'll tell you why when News 3 Now This Morning returns.
Welcome back at 6:38. We've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Adam sent us this picture of a shelf cloud near Ithaca High School. That was what we saw from those storms late last week. Beautiful shot there.
Just beautiful. The storms that we've seen recently have come up with some really great My News 3 morning photos.
We've had a lot of pictures coming in, even this morning from the sunrise shot. So keep those coming, people. We love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Adam.
It's the perks from this weather, right? Thanks again, Adam. What does your morning look like? Take a photo, share it on social media, use that hashtag MyNews3Morning, and Josh and I can find and share our favorites right here on the program.
Later tonight, the Bucs have a chance to bounce back from a Game 3 loss and set themselves up for a chance to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals.
Oh yeah, after falling just short in Game 3 with a double overtime loss, Giannis and the crew are hoping for better shooting tonight in Game 4. Toronto's tough defense forced the Bucs to shoot just 37% from the field in Game 3. Still, the Bucs were able to fight back to force 2 overtimes. If they win tonight, they'll head back to Milwaukee for Game 5 with a 3-1 lead in the series and a chance to advance to the finals in front of the home fans. Tip-off tonight is set for 7:30 on TNT.
In Toronto, there's a few fans who are torn between the Raptors and the Bucs. They're really just cheering for the Greek Freak. Greektown is the largest Greek neighborhood in all of North America. So it makes sense that Giannis has a large fan base there.
I want him to do good, but I don't want him to do good, you know? Yeah, I like the guy.
They like the guy. When push comes to shove, most fans said they're ultimately pulling for the Raptors, but if the Bucs win the series, they will be cheering for Giannis and the rest of Milwaukee in the finals.
Hard not to like the Greek Freak, right?
He's incredible. He's fun to watch.
Exactly.
Got to keep it going.
All right, 6:40 your time now. Memorial Day, less than a week away. Sure doesn't feel like it today, though.
Not at all.
We are struggling to get out of the 50s, and we might see some rain, too. Hey, at least we had some nice sunrises this morning, and a warm-up is on the way, folks. Hattie's in next with our first alert forecast.
But first, it is May 21st, and we want to say happy birthday to Felix, Zoe, and all the other kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for waking up with us and celebrating on News 3 Now this morning. And we welcome you back at 6:43 on a Tuesday morning. Live look in Platteville. Yeah, a lot of clouds out there this morning. Kind of one of those window forecasts where it looks okay until you step outside.
Yeah, but I mean, at least we're getting a little bit of sun through those clouds.
Just a little bit of some sunshine.
The silver lining, as they say.
We're almost to warmer weather, folks, so we can do it.
About time.
Well, the wild weather we've seen in Wisconsin in the past year is bringing some not so sweet results for Wisconsin's honey producers.
Yeah, honey production in the state was down 2% last year, falling to a 10-year low. If there's any good news, national production was up overall. That's giving agriculture officials here in Wisconsin some hope moving forward, but the industry is still dependent on the weather.
Weather was a big factor in it last year. We had a cool, wet spring and followed by a few hot weeks in June and July that were extremely dry, so that affected the production.
Some honey producers keep their bees in Florida during the winter, but they also saw bad weather, leading to many of those bees dying off. Officials say we can all help out by planting more flowers in our yard for that bee population.
All right, 6:45 right now. Miss Hattie McLean is busy tracking some more showers moving into the area. Sorry, I had to.
That was great, Josh. We'll be here all week, right?
Yes.
All right, let's take a look from the Edgewater Sky Cam downtown Madison this morning. Again, looking a lot like that Platteville Sky Camera, just a little bit of sunshine making it through the clouds. We do have some rain in the forecast, though, for today. Take a look at the probability of precipitation. Not likely that we're going to see any of those showers as you head to work or school this morning. Chances increase through the middle of the day, though, so scattered showers developing as you head towards the lunch hour. They turn more widely scattered as we head into the evening. Here's a look at Doppler track this morning. We've seen some rain try to move into the area, but not having much luck right now. We'll zoom the map out to show you the entire United States, and the severe weather threat continues for the Central Plains. This yellow box is a tornado watch box. Now, on the cold side of this system, we are dealing with some snow in parts of the mountains. Denver could get up to 2 inches of snow today with temperatures only in the 30s. So at least it's not that cold here. There are some delays, of course, in Dallas and Fort Worth as those thunderstorms move towards the area. Flights arriving to Dallas are delayed about an hour and a half. I did note that there are some delays to Denver. If you're headed to Denver this morning due to gate issues, there are some flights that are being delayed as well. So keep that in mind. If today's your travel day, quite a contrast in temperatures across the United States. 91 in Atlanta today. Showers and thunderstorms through the midsection of the country. Highs only in the 30s, again with that snow in Denver. Now we're going to be a little cool here, but not that cold. 50s for highs here in southern Wisconsin. Here's a look at your current temperature readings. A lot of 40s on the map all around Minneapolis, 49, 48 in Des Moines. Chicago is at 47. Here in Madison, we're in the mid 40s, right around 46 degrees. Now, winds are going to be a factor in the forecast today. Take a look at your future track wind map this morning. Those winds will be on the increase from the east, and as we head towards the afternoon, they get even stronger. We're talking 20 to 25-mile-an-hour wind out of the east. That's going to make it feel quite chilly. Now, unlike most days where the wind dies down as the sun sets, that will not be the case. Winds stay strong from the east through the evening. Overnight, they stay strong, but they begin to shift to the south. So that signals a better chance for warmer temperatures headed our way on Wednesday. But for today, look for cloudy skies. Temperatures will only climb a few degrees. You can see that rain getting a little closer as we head towards the lunch hour. This afternoon, scattered showers. May hear a few rumbles of thunder this evening with that rain pushing through, but it all comes to an end by tomorrow morning. A much nicer day in the forecast for tomorrow. Take a look at that jump in temperatures from 50s today to upper 70s tomorrow and then 80s on Thursday. So by the time we get to Thursday, today will just be a distant memory. It does look a little wet heading into the holiday weekend, but at least temperatures stay in the 70s. This is a perfect picture for this morning. Sammy with Buddy in Madison. That's just a great activity for a day like today.
That's what I want to be doing right now.
All day.
All day.
That's kind of weather for it, for sure.
That's true. Snuggle up, just wait 24 hours.
Oh, man. All right, Hattie, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The Morning Sprint is up next on News 3 Now this morning.
6:51, time for the morning sprint. Our team is ready to get you started with everything you need to know before you head out the door this Tuesday morning.
And that includes the weather for today as a major storm system continues to roll through the southern plains and the Midwest, slowly making its way to Wisconsin. More than a dozen confirmed tornadoes have touched down as part of that big storm system hitting Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Those storms also brought hail and heavy rains that led to severe flooding in that part of the country as well. Several people had to be rescued overnight. Luckily, no deaths or injuries have been reported.
Now we'll see some moisture with that system, but no severe weather expected here across southern Wisconsin today. You can see some light rain falling apart as it tries to lift north into the Badger State. It's battling a strong easterly wind in place. It will move into southern Wisconsin eventually today, though, so some showers are in our forecast. Pretty windy and chilly. Temperatures only topping in the low 50s this afternoon.
Hattie, thank you. Madison police are asking for your help in finding a missing teenager this morning. 16-year-old Haley Akers was last seen around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon on the north side of Madison near Sherman Park. She's about 5 feet 7 inches tall and has brown hair and brown eyes. Police believe she's voluntarily missing. If you've seen her or know where she is, you're asked to call 911.
We have a better idea of when Madison schools may have an interim superintendent in place. The State Journal reports the school board is hoping to interview candidates by mid-June and make an offer before July. Whoever takes the job would serve until a permanent replacement for outgoing Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham is found.
The school board in Verona is continuing to talk about disciplinary action against students involved in fights at the high school earlier this month. This cell phone video of the chaotic scene shows large groups of students throwing punches and yelling while staff members try to break it up. During the open comment session at last night's meeting, some parents shared their concerns. The board adjourned into a closed-door session around 9 o'clock last night to talk about more of the steps that they need to take with those students involved.
A woman is facing charges this morning after trying to get into a Madison school and threatening to, quote, shoot it up. 35-year-old Adrain Harris was arrested inside Jefferson Middle School yesterday. Madison police say she threatened to shoot up the school, start it on fire, and drive her car through the front doors. Harris denies making those statements. According to a letter sent home to families, the principal says she is not allowed on school property without advance notice due to previous disturbances. She's facing charges of disorderly conduct and trespassing.
A group of Madison firefighters are back home this morning after spending the day in Appleton and helping their colleagues grieve. A visitation and funeral service were held yesterday in Appleton for firefighter Mitchell Lundgaard. He served 14 years at that department and is the first Appleton firefighter in 86 years to die in the line of duty. His fellow firefighters transported his body from the church to the funeral home for a private service as hundreds of people lined the streets to say their final farewells.
A wrongful death suit involving the firefighter killed in last summer's explosion in Sun Prairie will continue this morning. Abby Barr, the widow of Corey Barr, and 2 other firefighters who were injured are suing multiple companies for their role in the blast. Attorneys for those companies cited Firefighters Rule, which prohibits first responders from seeking damages in connection with their duties. The judge denied their motion to dismiss the case, saying she needs more information to make a ruling.
This morning, an effort to reintroduce a proposal for automatic voter registration in Wisconsin has seen some pushback from Republican lawmakers. The proposal would automatically register people to vote when they get their driver's license or state ID card. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos called the idea unnecessary because Wisconsin already has online voter registration and same-day registration.
After years of court battles, the fight between the city of Madison and Taco Bell Cantina could finally be over tonight. City Council will make its final vote on an agreement with the restaurant to drop all current court cases and allow them to get an alcohol license. Former Mayor Paul Soglin was against that proposal as part of his push to reduce alcohol-related crime near State Street. But new Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway introduced a resolution shortly after taking office to grant Taco Bell that license.
The continued wet weather we've had this spring is putting area farmers even farther behind. USDA says only about 35% of the state's corn crop is planted right now. That's 11 days behind average. Soybean fields are only 12% planted and 10 days behind schedule. More rain in the forecast means farmers are also not able to get into the fields to harvest their alfalfa, which is used to feed some of their cows.
Memorial Day weekend, officials are asking you to be aware of chemical safety. Things like chlorine are important to keep pools free of germs. but exposure can be dangerous at improper levels, causing watery eyes, a burning sensation, coughing, and even life-threatening symptoms in extreme cases. These things are preventable. A strong chemical smell could be a sign that something is off. You can use test strips found at local retailers to find out and alert the pool operator. Rinsing off before diving in can help as well because too many germs can cause the chemicals to overproduce.
Thank you, Maddie. It already feels like fall today, so why not watch the Packers practice? The team is holding a public practice, weather permitting, of course, today at 1 up in Green Bay. Organized team activities kicked off yesterday. It's their first offseason under new head coach Matt LaFleur, meaning even veterans like Aaron Rodgers have things to work on.
6:57 now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with a look at your first alert traffic. Hey there, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Starting to pick up on the westbound side of the Beltline. A few brake lights between Stoughton Road and West Broadway. It's going to add an extra minute to your drive time. Inbound side of John Olin, not looking too bad right now, but getting busier between Olin Avenue and North Shore Drive heading into the downtown area. And other main routes coming into Madison. They're cruising at the posted speeds with no major issues this morning. With your first alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
And the polar bears don't seem to mind the forecast at all. They're frolicking in the pool this morning. Cool shot to see that. There will be a few showers possible later today, but overall just pretty chilly conditions with high temperatures only in the lower 50s. We just have one day to wait though because warmer temperatures are in the forecast starting on Wednesday. We're headed into the 70s.
All right, we'll just live life like a polar bear today. How about that? Thanks for joining us, everyone. Go make it a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.